whom were Republican back then, had only recently won the right to vote, and Southern Democrats were actively suppressing that vote.
If there had been a fair election in the South, there's no question Hayes would have won by a large margin.
But as the weeks dragged on, neither side was willing to concede. How tense did it get?
There were Democratic newspapers with headlines, "March to Washington to install Tilden as president." There were Republicans saying, "We're on the verge of another civil war."
Tilden or blood. This idea that if Tilden's not counted in, we might have another war, to fight here.
Was there a fear that there could be dueling presidencies?
Yes, there were key Democrats who asked Tilden to take the oath of office anyway. He refused to do so.
And there were a lot of people who said, and particularly businessmen and others, who said, "We don't even care who's elected, but get this settled."
But Congress was divided, and the Constitution offered no clear direction for resolving the impasse. So in January of 1877, a 15-member electoral commission was formed. The 8 Republicans and 7 Democrats would determine which candidate won the states in dispute.
By some coincidence, all the electoral votes are allocated to Hayes by a vote of 8-7 in each case.
That's right, the commission voted along party lines. But it's not over yet.
It's not over yet.
The Tilden camp cried foul. With inauguration just days away and the nation on edge, representatives for both candidates met in Washington for secret negotiations.
Ironically, they took place at Wormley House, a major hotel which is owned by a black man. Wormley, probably the most well-to-do African-American in the city of Washington at that time.
Ironic, because the agreement forged there, known as the Compromise of 1877, would have long-lasting repercussions for black Americans in the South.
The Democrats will not stop the inauguration of Hayes. They will accept Hayes as president. Hayes will end the remaining Reconstruction.
In other words, the Republicans get the White House. The Democrats effectively regain control of the American South. No more federal protection of the rights of recently freed African Americans.
The Democrats promise they will respect the basic rights of the former slaves, which they do not do.
Rutherford B. Hayes was certified as president on March 2nd, 1877. Samuel Tilden accepted the decision. 3 days later, Hayes was inaugurated in a peaceful transfer of power.
I think if either Hayes or Tilden had been of the personality that was very aggressive, that was very intense, really wanted this presidency for very selfish reasons, I think the whole tenor would have changed.
Today, says Christy Weininger, President Hayes is remembered less for what he did during his single term in office than for the election that threatened, once again, to tear apart the country.
Are visitors bringing up the election of 1876 more?
They're very interested in how divisive the country was then. And somehow knowing that we've been there before and survived, I think gives some comfort and some hope to people.
Have you ever wondered why some